The Watermark at the Pearl offers a pet-friendly urban environment for older adults that also includes on-site wellness and dining. Located in Portland's vibrant Pearl District, the Watermark redefines expectations for senior living. Every day brings enriching opportunities to live fully with connection, creativity, meaning, and purpose. So if you or a loved one are looking for independent or assisted living and/or memory care, visit portlandwatermark.com today. Your story continues at the Watermark at the Pearl. Veganizers World Vegan Month is happening all of November, meaning all month long you can enjoy vegan specials for a cause at participating businesses, including Mis Tacones, Nora, Vitopian, Boxcar Pizza, and so many more. As always, a portion of sales benefits nonprofits and progressive causes, and when you dine at participating locations, you can collect stamps for a chance to win gift cards. To learn more, visit veganizerpdx.com/world-vegan-month or follow them at veganizerpdx. Today on CityCast Portland, we're looking into how a Supreme Court decision regarding Mississippi's elections could impact Oregon. We're also talking through a potential ballot initiative hoping to reallocate 25% of climate tax revenues to hiring more police officers. And we're digging into the proposal to ban rent-setting algorithms from being used in our city. Joining me on this week's Friday News Roundup are KBOO News Director Althea Billings and our very own executive producer, John Notarianni. It's Friday, November 14th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Oh, and right after the interview, we are declaring the winner of Pivot Property Management's sponsored contest for the best idea on what to do with one of their empty downtown offices, and Victoria Boyle from Pivot will be joining me for that reveal, so stick around. Welcome, everyone, to the Friday News Roundup. Althea, John, thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning, Claudia.
Hey, Claudia.
Hey, it's been a while, Althea.
Happy to be back.
For those of you new to the show, today is the day we break down some of the biggest local stories of the week with some of the best and brightest journalists in town. But before we jump into the news, I usually ask our guests an opening question so our listeners can get to know them a little better. And today's opening question is related to the fact that Seattle now has its own CityCast show.
Woo.
So, yeah, CityCast Seattle launched last week, and in honor of Seattle getting a cool new podcast, I wanted to extend an olive branch of sorts and ask what you think Seattle does better than Portland. And I know I'm being generous here because we all know the answer is absolutely nothing. But I thought it would be an interesting question to pose, being that Althea Billings was actually born and raised in Seattle, well, like everyone with good sense and taste, moved to Portland. But Althea, you might actually just have it locked and loaded.
I do have some of the credibility to tell you what Seattle is doing right. In the past, when I've been asked this question, I think that Seattle has a sort of big city attitude that Portland could really benefit from. To me, Seattle knows it's a city. Portland, we're like a town that's becoming a city. And there's a little bit of, it's a city. Don't get too twisted up about that. It's a city. There's a lot of people that live here. We're all doing different stuff. I think that some of that acknowledgement might be good for us in Portland. But I also think that Portland doesn't have good highways. That's another one that I think of. Like, Seattle's highways aren't great, but Portland's are especially bad. Also, Seattle has ferries. And wouldn't it be cool if we had one?
Yeah, I said one thing. I'm
sorry.
But okay.
I have like a zillion things to say.
Damn. I know. I'll give you the ferries.
Ferries would be cool, right?
Ferries would be awesome.
One other thing that I think we can commend Seattle for being better at than Portland is gentrification. I mean, we've been building condos willy-nilly for the past 10 years, but Seattle, man, they're building skyscrapers left and right. They are just pricing everybody out of the downtown core. They are so much better at gentrification.
They're killing it. They're really killing it. Althea's looking to the side. I think one of the things Seattle does better than Portland is existing in closer proximity to Orcas Island, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I can admit that Seattle does that way better than Portland ever could. And recognize that single fault in our city. We live about 7 to 8 hours away from Orcas Island. Seattle is maybe 3.5 hours depending on the ferry schedule. Also, they have the Mariners and T-Mobile Stadium. And honestly, that might be my real answer, but I think I might be too bitter and jealous to really admit it. I want MLB in Portland so bad.
Our day will come.
But anyhow, yeah, so if you have any friends that unfortunately live in Seattle, tell them to listen to CityCast. It's a great show. Even though it's about Seattle, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Althea, tell your parents.
Oh yeah, I'll get my mom
right
on
now.
it.
Text them.
Don't stress at all. She'll be in there.
If she's free, we can get her on the end of the show. We'll pitch her on.
Yeah. Leslie.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's call your mom.
Let's get her on here.
Leslie? Oh, I want to meet Leslie.
You'd like her. She loves Seattle.
I'm sure she
loves Seattle.
All right, y'all. Thank you for your answers. On to the news of the week. Althea, you're actually kicking us off with some pretty annoying news. Go ahead.
Annoying? What's annoying about what the Supreme Court is doing and trying to change our election system? What could you
Love those guys.
What could we possibly be referring to there? Yeah, the Supreme Court has taken up a case that is coming out of a lawsuit in Mississippi about their voting system. And the main question of this case is, are states going to be allowed to accept ballots that arrive after Election Day? So things that are postmarked by the Tuesday of Election Day, but arrive later. In Mississippi, they can arrive up to 5 days later. In Oregon, just recently, we started being able to take them for like a week after, right? So it could have a pretty big impact depending on how the Supreme Court decides to go on this, because, you know, there's states that rely more on those later ballots than Oregon does. We adopted it pretty recently. But yeah, Supreme Court meddling in election systems, that's kind of what we're looking at. And this is something that would be happening before the midterm elections. Supreme Court is expected to hear the case in early 2026 and issue their ruling at the end of their session in June or July.
Yeah. If you think that this is something that doesn't make a difference, I mean, just think back to our election about a year ago, where for city council, we were following those late ballots coming in for days until we had a final winner on who was going to be on city council. So, like, this really could make a difference in close elections in Oregon if they rule that way.
I have to be honest, when I first saw the headline, I just imagined the worst thing that could possibly happen. And I thought I read they're trying to get rid of all mail-in voting. So that's how I was coming into this headline. And then as I read through, the thought is that it gets in by the election date. And because I had worked myself up, that I was like, oh, that's not so bad. Which is not good is what I'm saying. But I was just like, oh, that's not so bad. I mean, and it just made me realize that that's where I'm at in national politics. It's like, oh, that's not so bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
It could be worse.
It's not totally unfounded. I think this is probably a stepping stone towards really going after
Exactly.
mail-in voting. I mean, in March, Trump had this whole thing about how mail-in voting is basically fraud. He issued this executive order that you can't do that anymore. Of course, that executive order doesn't have weight because states administer elections, yada, yada. Oregon and Washington sued them. That's still pending in Seattle federal court. I don't know that there's a trial date on that one yet. But yeah, challenging mail-in voting is something that, you know, you're seeing Republicans do around the country. Including here in Oregon, there's a case in Douglas County challenging vote by mail. That also doesn't have a trial date yet. It's been sort of slow going. But I will say that is something that, you know, I think it was the 2020 election maybe where they were first sort of talking about mail-in voting and more states were picking it up because of the pandemic. And there was all of this sort of fear-mongering about like, ooh, mail-in voting, scary. What if somebody takes the mail? Or I don't know. There was some rhetoric around that. But in Oregon, we've been doing it for so long. In many ways, it feels very nonpartisan to vote by mail. It's very easy to vote by mail. It's uncontroversial here. So the idea of challenging that, whether, you know, homegrown in Douglas County or based on a case out of Mississippi is kind of an odd one.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm worried about, regardless of what happens in this case, is just the confusion that it causes around elections, right? Because the reporting is saying that they're going to hear arguments on it in early 2026, rule by early next summer, which means, like, by midsummer, we could have this new precedent going into a fall election that, like, getting the messaging out on that, especially on a law that has been sort of, like, switching and changing. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, wait, did they just cancel mail-in voting entirely? Do I need to find a polling place? I think both here in Oregon and across the country, it could just create a ton of confusion as well, which is never good for elections.
Yeah. I understand this whole situation is that if you give a Republican a cookie,
He's going to take it to the Supreme
He's
Court.
going to want a glass of milk.
exactly. So my hair isn't on fire. But again, if a Republican gets a cookie, so I'm 100% hoping this does not move forward.
Yeah, hair's not on fire, but somebody is flicking a lighter, like too close. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of Supreme Court rulings potentially boomeranging and affecting us here in Oregon, the thing that I'm sort of keeping an eye on is what's going on in Illinois with the Supreme Court ruling regarding the troop deployment there, because they had a similar situation. The president wanted to deploy troops. It got blocked by the courts, and that is now being sort of siphoned up to the Supreme Court. And just this week, the Trump administration basically urged the Supreme Court to grant extraordinary deference to the president's authority on matters like this, on when to deploy the National Guard. So even though we just had a ruling here in Oregon from a judge basically saying that, like, no troops are allowed to be deployed from out of state here in Oregon forever, this process that's going on in Illinois could sort of set a new precedent that boomerangs back on us and opens that whole question again as well. So even if you think the Supreme Court ruling on things in other states is far away from us, that is not necessarily the case. And that's something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on in the next couple of months as well.
Oh, for sure. Also, I just feel for anyone right now, like anyone who has to like wait for the higher courts to administer any ruling. I can only imagine.
All those poor lawyers.
I know. Well, it's more about like the resources being drained, the attention from state leaders to actually govern.
Of course.
It's like your boss coming in and just making your job difficult every day by just existing. Like, oh my God, Althea, I'm getting a little finger snap.
I'm giving you some snaps for that one.
Oh my God. Well, Althea, thanks for looking into this. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, more headlines of the week. Colder weather is coming, and with it, higher energy use. So if you're like me and are looking for ways to lower your electric bill this winter, PGE's customer dashboard makes it so easy to stay in control. Using your dashboard, you can track where your energy is going, see what's driving its use, and discover personalized tips to make helpful adjustments. All you have to do is log in or create an account, then use the Home Energy Analysis tool to update your home profile, and in just a few minutes, you're going to get suggestions tailored to your home and lifestyle. And while you're there, you can also sign up for paperless billing and explore other energy shifting programs recommended just for you. Go check it out at portlandgeneral.com/my-dash. That's portlandgeneral.com/my-dash. Walla Walla is officially inviting you, to enjoy the holidays in their cozy and charming small town. They're just a scenic 4-hour drive away, located in southeastern Washington, meaning if you visit soon, you'll have a few more chances to see the sun before our winter fully hits. Walla Walla Valley is also home to more than 130 wineries offering great food and wine. They also have a very walkable historic downtown core with lovely shops to explore. There's enough to do where you have the option to pack your calendar with wine tastings, golf, and local events, or go at your own pace for a nice relaxing getaway. Go to wallawalla.org to plan your visit today. That's wallawalla.org. So I'm looking into this new kooky and crazy ballot initiative backed by the Portland Police Association. Those crazy guys are trying to reroute 25% of revenue from the Portland Clean Energy Fund tax to fund hiring 400 additional police officers. Now they're hoping to get enough signatures to get it on the November 2026 ballot. And they're going to need roughly 40,500 signatures to accomplish that. And I need you all to know that I relied on reporting by Willamette Week's Sophie Peel. So if you're like, what's the Portland Clean Energy Fund tax? My sweet summer child, I envy you because I too wish I didn't know what this tax was all about.
Take us on a walk down memory lane, Claudia.
Oh, gosh. Well, for one, we call it PSEF for short because it just rolls off the tongue. And PSEF, which was backed by progressive social justice groups and climate advocates back in 2018, is a first-of-its-kind tax that imposes a 1% sales tax on large retailers operating in Portland. Portland loves taxes so much that it invented a new one. Now, the revenue is supposed to go towards creating jobs for people of color to build infrastructure that can withstand effects of climate change. Sounds great, but here's the thing. It was generating an ungodly amount of money for 5 years in a row. It made so much money that the city was having trouble spending it for its intended purpose. So last year, they started finding creative ways to use PSEF funds to fill in budget holes the city was and is still experiencing. Now, these budget holes were loosely connected to the overall goals of the fund, and they were also approved by the fund's manager, but it was still met with a lot of browbeating and major criticism from the nonprofit groups that backed the passage of the fund. Now, since the city started dipping into that sweet, sweet PSEF fund, the thought has been, well, what else can we use the money for? I remember there was talk of just lowering the tax. It's clear we don't need this much. Or maybe just funneling some of the overspill to the city's general funds. But this is the first attempt I've seen at actually making a legit play for the extra funds. So this ballot initiative is not just backed by the Portland Police Association. Big Pink owner Jeff Sickward, that's not his last name, Sickward.
Jeff Squidward.
Jeff Squidward.
The Big Pink owner, Jeff Squidward.
Big Pink owner, SpongeBob Squidward. No, sorry, Jeff Swickard. Swickard. Big Pink owner Jeff Swickard is also a financial backer. Oh my God, I did it. I'm just going to call him Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. Jeff's reasoning is, hey, we don't have enough officers, and I just bought this cool new building, and I need someone to chase the riffraff away. He didn't say all that. I'm paraphrasing. But the facts are that Portland currently has around 800 officers, which is like 1.2 officers per 1,000 residents. The national average is 2.4 officers per 1,000 residents. So technically, we would need 800 more officers to even reach the national average, and they're asking for just 400 officers. But the fact that they need 25% of the existing revenue to achieve this is something I hope more people look into. Because right now, the fund has an estimated balance of $920 million. More than 580 is already earmarked for future use. But the fund is expected to generate approximately 1.5 to 1.6 billion over the next 5 years. Is it 25% of that to initially hire 400 officers and then pay them out until retirement? Why 25% of nearly $1 billion for only 400 officers? I'm sure they have their numbers all figured out, but I am curious how they came to that figure because that wasn't broken down. To my easily overwhelmed by numbers brain, that seems like a lot of money.
Yeah.
You think they should go bigger?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Well,
how much money until we're all police officers? Is there a number on that?
Althea, can you break it down? Can PSEF make us all police officers? Can we all get cruisers
I'm
through
patrolling
PSEF?
my couch.
Send us away for training for 2 weeks. It sounds good.
Oh my God. I want to get sent on paid admin. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Just a paid admin leave?
For misconduct, Claudia? Is that what you're proposing?
Oh, I'm speeding everywhere. Are you
Suspended
kidding?
with pay.
Claudia, go home.
For violations of podcast law.
Okay, before I share some feedback given by city leaders, what are your thoughts?
The ballot initiative giveth, the ballot initiative taketh away. I mean, when PSEF passed, it went through a ballot initiative process, right? Which is why it was designed in such a wonky way and ends up making way more money than they ever intended for it. So now the, police are like, hey, why don't we have a ballot initiative to get some of that money? Just another, like you said, those wacky guys, the wacky way that Portland city government works to allow for these ballot initiatives to bypass City Hall and go straight to voters, regardless of what the law is. I just don't think this is a good way to, make major budget decisions in the city.
Here's what I want to say. We have money sitting around for more officers. Every year, the police association we need more money to hire more officers. As long as I've been reporting in Portland, they've been talking about that, and City Council has handed them hand over fist amount of money, any amount of money that you want to hire more people. And so they haven't been delivering on that, let alone all of the regular deficiencies that our police department has, okay? Under federal consent decree, only a few years ago blatantly lied about their inability to do traffic stops during the pandemic to try to manipulate council, okay? So giving them a blank check out of PSEF, I think is really questionable. Of course, that's not what PSEF is for. And PSEF is making a lot of money, and people have concerns about not spending that money fast enough, that it's so much money. But here's maybe like a perspective flip on that. Taxing the mega rich, uber wealthy companies works. Everybody needs money. Every single department in this town is underfunded, is making huge cuts. I mean, that was City Council this week was doing their budget adjustment because they have less money than they thought they would. Mm-hmm. So maybe the PSEF isn't the problem. The problem is that we're not willing to do another PSEF. Ooh. Why not put another PSEF on there that's just for cops if you want to? Like, we could have done, instead of the parks levy, 0.05% tax on corporations or on the billionaires. Like, I don't know. We're generating money that we need for things. Everybody agrees that we need money for things, and we don't have enough money. This has money, and we're not spending it fast enough, so we're mad about that, and that money shouldn't exist, as opposed to maybe this actually is a good way to get the money to do the things that we agree need to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't believe Portland successfully got a business tax to pass, but we're somehow still blowing it. Like, it is kind of amazing. No, to what you were saying, Althea, it's incredible that PSEF passed.
By a lot, too.
Yeah. Like, imagine if this happened on the federal level. Like, we actually made businesses pay a 1% tax they couldn't wiggle out of, you know? Mm-hmm. But then we also couldn't touch any of it. I deeply believe in all the work these organizations who successfully rallied for this tax, you know, like, I deeply believe in the work that they're doing. But right now, this fund is feeling lopsided and mismanaged in a way. And I don't know, Althea, if it's a fear of like, can we do this again? That makes me want to figure out how to not dismantle PSEF, but basically I'm like, okay, it's making too much money. Can we use this money? Can we figure it out? But I get that's not how ballot initiatives work. You can't just change a thing once everyone's voted for a very specific purpose. When you just saying like, let's pass another PSEF, a little part of me did like glow inside. Like, I'm like, oh, we could do that. But again, it's the like beaten down part of me that's just like, it's okay, guys. They're not taking away our voting rights. They're just taking away the day we get to mail. Like, it's okay.
we've been conditioned to settle for a lot less. I agree.
I agree. So I don't know. I'm rethinking my whole like, let's gut PSEF and figure out a way to fund other social services, all these other things, and just like, yeah, let's fucking do another PSEF. And shut the hell up, Police Association.
Big Pink Jeff.
Yes, Squidward. Oh my God, I feel so bad. Swickard. Jeff Swickard. And I'm actually really happy that he bought the Big Pink building. He always wanted it. I don't know if you know his story, but since he was a child, he's wanted this building. And he finally got it, you guys.
You can just want a building?
You can just want a building. Since he was a small boy.
It's a little like child evil genius-y. Like, I was not being like, one day I will own that skyscraper when I was a child. But...
And that's why you don't, John.
And that's why I don't. I didn't set my ambitions high enough.
That's why you're here podcasting with us, okay?
I was like, one day I would like to have some nice coffee mugs. And you know what? Mission achieved.
Oh, man. They asked City Council for their feedback, and only, I think, Alana Perot-Guiney responded. And in a statement, she just blankly said, PSEF is going to remain intact. But let's take a quick break here. When we come back, more headlines of the week.
You know, when most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
This episode is sponsored by Doer. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast. I'm lounging in my performance denim slim straight jeans from Doer. They're incredibly comfortable, 5 times stretchier than traditional denim. But what's even better is that they feel stretchy without looking stretchy. You can take them anywhere and just look good. I wear them to travel, out for dinner, now just hanging around my house since they're so delightful to stretch out in. Doer are pioneers of blending technical innovation with everyday clothing. They invented the original performance denim, so it's not surprising that Doer has made jeans that are the best of both worlds. Classic jeanswear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear. And they're also the right color, not excessively deep blue, not that middle school jean light blue, but a lovely indigo. My girlfriend called them the perfect color, in fact. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. Trust me, once you try these, they'll be your go-to. And you can check out Doer in our store right here in Portland. It's at 820 Northwest 23rd Ave. Pick up a pair for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Mention our promo code CCPDX in store to get 15% off your first order. Or check them out online at shopduer.com/CCPDX for 15% off. That's shopduer.com/CCPDX.
We're back. John, what are you getting us into?
I'm getting us into more fun hijinks at City Council, specifically a vote that is probably coming up next week on potentially banning the use of algorithms to set residential rent. This comes from some reporting from Jonathan Bach at the Oregonian, also some old reporting by Alex Zielinski over at OPB. Algorithms to set residential rents. These companies have software that sort of analyzes regional rents and vacancy data to recommend pricing, ostensibly to be able to figure out how to raise rents. Critics say that it's basically price fixing. But this has become something that is getting a lot of scrutiny. Similar laws have passed banning this practice in cities like Seattle and Berkeley, also in New York State. There's an ordinance that was proposed here in Portland by Councilor Angelita Murillo earlier this year, basically saying that this is a check on corporate power. Had introduced it this spring, but then withdrew it because it looked like there was some litigation from an outside source related to the issue. We're guessing that that is related to a lawsuit that Berkeley was facing about their law, sort of banning these algorithms to set rents. Well, it is back in play here in Portland, discussed on Wednesday night, passed on to a second reading, and it's just another place where these issues are getting a little bit contentious at City Council. Some councilors were really worried that a ban on this type of software might discourage developers. Particularly Dan Ryan was really outspoken about this. And, you know, I think smallest violin in the world for developers in Portland. I mean, Portland already has a bad reputation as a real estate market. There was a new report by the Urban Land Institute that ranked Portland 80th out of 81 markets in terms of investment potential. The second year in a row that we are near the bottom of the list of like the worst places to invest in real estate. So yeah, this argument is going on. And it happens at a moment where, like, for all of the discussion that we've heard out of City Council, they haven't really passed like a major policy yet this year. They passed a budget. They've had a lot of discussions, but like there's been a lot of internal disputes about procedure and just figuring out how this new 12-person council is even going to work. I think they're all feeling a lot of pressure to like pass something really substantial. And this is the most recent thing that's sort of on the table. What do you guys think? Rent algorithms, yay or nay?
Yay! Yeah, I'm into it. Sorry, guys. I know that Oregon's part of this federal lawsuit against RealPage. Turns out I think they rule, actually. No, that's not my take. Cut that. So yeah, they brought it back. They made some tweaks. I was tuned into this the other week when it was in the Housing and Homelessness Committee, and they had like a big kind of description of how they changed it so they think that they won't get sued for it. Which is interesting. And they were also able to take some of the opposition off the table as well. For example, a platform like Zillow was originally against this first version of the rental price fixing ban because they were like, are you guys trying to ban us? That's not cool. We're opposed to that. Zillow is like, no, it's chill. Do whatever you want to do. So I'm glad to see that it's moving forward. I mean, the thing to me is price fixing is already illegal, right? It's already something you can't be manipulating the market like that. And it's possible that, I don't know, like, are we considering it from the perspective that manipulating the market in this way is bad for developers in some respect? I don't know. Like, why are we agreeing with the idea? Or are we willing to go down the road that manipulating the market in favor of developers is overall good for the city, right? Because we need more housing. And the accusation is basically that these AI algorithmic programs are incentivizing property managers and landlords to leave units open to force prices higher. So those are empty spaces that somebody could be living in that contributes to this whole housing crisis. So, I mean, I think in reality, it's like it's a drop in the bucket, and it's communicating that this type of price fixing is still illegal. And I don't even know if it's going to end up in more lawsuits per se, or even have like a huge, I mean, it's unclear what kind of impact it might have in the Portland rental market, but it's better than nothing. Come on. And Seattle did it already.
Oh, another thing Seattle's better at than we are. Is that what you're throwing it in?
I think, maybe.
They're better at algorithms.
And that probably is true.
I know. It's like fair.
And how has it worked in Seattle? Is rent super low now?
Yeah. They fixed it. No, I think they're getting sued too. So that's why Portland wanted to hold off, tried not to get sued for it.
Oh, man. I know this has been something that has been on Angelita Murillo's things to do while she has any modicum of power. And the thought is this is going to disincentivize real estate development. But that 3-year waiver on development fees, that's still happening.
Right,
so
right.
that's really, that's pricey. Like, that is, like, to me, a pretty big incentive.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like Althea said, I think this sort of is a drop in the bucket. Those waiving of development fees are legitimately expensive for developers is like a much, much bigger deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is the probability of this passing?
I don't think we know yet. I think it has a better chance of passing than the argument that we also saw this week over the plan to redirect money away from homeless camp sweeps.
Yeah, but that already didn't pass.
Right. So, I mean, I bring that up because it's like, all right, that was something that was like deeply divisive on the council, where there really was a handful of people, again, Angelita Murillo, Mitch Green, that were like very into this idea of sort of redirecting some of this money that's going towards homeless camp sweeps and putting it towards food aid and housing assistance. And there was a number of people on the council that were deeply opposed to this, as well as the mayor. Mayor Wilson went out of his way to send basically a public letter saying why he thought this idea was bad. I think that there was a feeling this week that it was close, but that it had a real chance of passing. But like, in a pretty fiery city council meeting, that ended up getting voted down. I'm not seeing the same amount of resistance to this one. So I would imagine that it has a better chance to pass. But like, again, a second reading, people are coming in with their sort of holsters of arguments reloaded. I think that we'll have a better sense of it once we get there next week.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good chance it'll pass. It seemed like it might pass even prior to when Murillo pulled it. And I think something important to note about the way council is operating, and possibly also why things haven't passed as much as we, would maybe expect them to have done by this time, is that I perceive councilors as really trying to pass things on wide margins, like getting as close to a 10, 12 vote passage as they possibly can. And whether that's, considering a litany of amendments that takes forever and they're there until midnight or whatever. But that's something that they've prioritize as opposed to passing things on super slim margins. And look, it's not going to hurt consumers, and consumers, I think, are the ones that need the most help when we're talking about, the AI rental price fixing ban.
I'm excited. I hope it does pass. I hope it actually does affect the rental market in, a positive way for consumers. But I also hope we don't get sued, because that would suck.
Add it to the pile.
Take a number,
in line, buddy.
Get in line.
Oh, man. Well, John, thank you for looking into that. And thank you, Althea, for joining us this morning. Before we head out, we have some shout outs from our Portland Neighbors program. That's one of the perks of being a paying member of CityCast Portland. You have this opportunity to shout out a local business or organization that you love on top of ad-free listening. So, John, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, the first one I've got is from Eric FF, who wants to shout out Hankins Hardware in Lads Edition. He says they have everything from a dish brush to power tools. The best way to stay in touch with neighbors is going on a weekend morning when you will run into lots of neighbors. Then he says this, in Lads Edition, we have two sayings. One, it's not a real home project if you haven't been to Hankins twice. And two, yes, Lads is the Bermuda Triangle of PDX. If the same car passes your house 3 times, you are morally obligated to go out and give them instructions on how to get out of the neighborhood.
I love that. I've experienced that.
Oh, man. I feel like that is a rite of passage, is getting lost in Lads Edition. Not understanding that you can't walk a straight line.
They don't let you.
They don't let you there. No. Well, I have one from Cassandra O. They wrote, the West Side Queer Resource Center in Hillsborough serves the queer community on the West Side with regular events and programming. Awesome. Hillsborough. Good for you.
I've got one more from Sarah S., who's shouting out Fresh Love Cafe on Northeast Fremont and 75th. It's my favorite spot for breakfast and lunch. Their breakfast sandwiches are incredible. They use Dos Hermanos bread. They also have a small market in the cafe selling things like fresh produce, salsa, bread, hummus. Their coffee drinks are also delicious. The place is so cute and cozy, and the owners live in the neighborhood.
Oh, I love that name, Fresh Love.
Yeah.
Isn't it cute? All right. Well, shout out to Sarah, Eric, and Cassandra, and a huge thank you to our newest member, Karen M. When you join as a Portland neighbor, we would also be so happy to read your shout outs of places you love in Portland, alongside, again, a bunch of other perks. Join at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. And you guys, thanks again for hanging out with me. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
Yeah. Thanks, Claudia.
Thanks.
And stick around, because in just 1 second, Victoria Boyle from Pivot Property Management is joining me for a quick chat to share the winning idea of their sponsored contest. You all voted for it, and very soon you're going to hear what they're turning one of their empty offices into. Well, Victoria, it's so lovely to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. This process has been really exciting.
Yeah, it really has been. I've been so excited to find out who the winner is. And before we reveal the winner, could you remind our audience again, why Pivot Management decided to do this contest, what you guys are, the thinking behind it, because you approached us.
Yeah, we're located downtown. The majority of our business is managing historic office buildings in downtown Portland. And we're big on creating a community downtown and being here to help rebuild. We love what CityCast is doing as far as supporting the community and building the community. And so we did reach out to you to see what we could do together.
Right. So basically the setup of the contest was you had 5 spaces and you asked our listeners and the readers of our newsletter, hey, what would you do with these 5 office spaces? Let's reimagine downtown. Let's figure out what we're going to do together. And we got something like 80 submissions.
Yep, that's my understanding. Yeah.
And you guys chose 5 finalists, which included an indoor dog park. I believe there was an indoor adult jungle gym, which was pretty cool, let's be honest. Oh, and there was a nap palace. So basically turning one of the offices into sort of like a recharge zone for tourists and people hanging out downtown, which was another good idea. And then the winning idea. So drum roll, please. Our audience voted Natalia K. O'Brien's idea as the one you're going to go with. Let me quickly just read through Natalia's winning idea. And again, this was voted by our listeners. Natalia wrote, dozens of nonprofits currently located at the Lloyd Center will need to vacate the premises in March. Let's rehome these organizations. They represent a wide diversity of communities, services, and programs positively impacting Portland. Many organizations have outward-facing programs that will draw participants to the location, helping to increase foot traffic downtown and create more dynamic offerings. So it seems that the winning idea essentially is creating more office spaces, but for these nonprofit organizations that were losing their home at the Lloyd Center. So I love that that's what the listeners wanted. I mean, we were trying to reimagine these office spaces into something else, but I mean, they're in need and they needed the space. Can you tell me a little bit why this idea really resonated with you guys?
Yeah, we really love this idea because we feel like it meets with our goals of serving the community. And this is just exactly the kind of thing that we wanted to provide to the community.
That's so cool. I'm curious how this is all going to work out. Please keep us posted. I want to see pictures. I want to see all of this happen. And I know that you're not done. We're going to do something again together in February. So, I mean, that's under wraps. We're still figuring that out. But Pivot isn't going to stop trying to reimagine these spaces. So stay tuned. Do you have anything to add to that, Victoria?
Yeah, we're here and we're not going away. We're committed to helping this community grow.
Nice. Well, Victoria, thanks again so much for being here. Again, check out pivotportland.com to learn more. We're going to have a link for you in the show notes as well, so everything's just a click away. Thank you so much for listening, and congratulations to Natalia K. O'Brien, and thank you to everyone who voted. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our podcast production team this week was John Notarianni, Julia Fiaioni, Zoe Colkin, Laura Satsui, and myself. Our Hey Portland newsletter editor is Rachel Monahan, and our host is me, Claudia Meza. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Drizos. Additional music by All the Kimonos, as well as Sarah the Instrumentalist, Timothy Infinite, and Gregory David, courtesy of Epidemic Sound, alongside Opal 99 and D-May, courtesy of Triple Scoop Music. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.